How are you trying to make it spooky and we're sitting here dressed as hobbits?
I have a scarecuterie board.
Oops, it's a spider banana. We are hobbits.
Hobbiton is real.
Bramble, root foot, and common green hill.
What do you think the growing zone is in Hobbiton?
A spidorio.
This is a therapy session.
We have poison apples. I didn't do anything to them.
Welcome back to the Helpful Gardeners podcast. This is a very special week because it is one of our favorite episodes of the year. It's our annual Spooktacular.
I love how you're trying to make it spooky and we're sitting here dressed as hobbits. The friendliest of friendly characters.
I know. And I was thinking about what we should do for Halloween, and we got a few suggestions online. So thank you to everybody who went over to our Instagram, the Helpful Gardeners Pod, and put in your suggestions for what we should dress up for Halloween. This one just seemed like a perfect coincidence, because what better gardener than a hobbit?
They want to garden. They want to eat the fruits of their labor.
Yeah.
Have some wine.
Mm-hmm.
They're like friends, but they also like being alone. Like I'm all about hobbit life.
Exactly. And just before we did the episode, we went down into the greenhouse. For those of you that don't know, we record the podcast and we're in partnership with Acre Home Garden in Calgary, Alberta. So we went down in the greenhouse and we did like a whole photo shoot and did videos and everything. And we had too much fun with it. So
and so did our colleagues.
I know everybody loved it. There's something about the Hobbit that they have really good PR. So check out that. There's going to be unloading onto our Instagram and also our YouTube shorts. So make sure to check that out. Subscribe while you're there.
These are the best capes.
I know. These capes are like velvet.
Yeah.
We've got like the little leaf thing that they wear on their capes. Frodo, you're the ring bearer today.
I guess this is the spooky part. This is the I'm not going to disappear. I'll stick around.
And then the ears.
Which I put on wrong. So you'd think these ears are very limited in how you could put them on. And I put them on wrong twice.
There was a lot of helping out on this one. But
hobbits are friends. Hobbits help.
Yes, they do. Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to dive all into some Hobbit gardening facts. We have a scarecuterie board. Or just here, we're going to go into some of that. We have a food craft for you today because I can't trust you with glue. So I thought we could do food.
It's a little harsh.
But first of all, we have to get down to it. But why did I choose The Hobbit? I kind of went on a deep dive for how The Hobbit kind of relates to gardening. Because I knew that, for example, Sam is the gardener, right? Yep. And you always see a whole bunch of, you see gardening as a really central theme in Hobbiton.
Well, whenever they show the Shire, there's always every house has a beautiful garden.
Yeah. And what is your feeling when you see the Shire as opposed to the rest of the film?
Oh, the Shire is comfort.
Yeah.
The Shire is safety, home.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I go to watch Lord of the Rings, I always start with the first one because it starts with Hobbiton and just that nice green. Yep. Yeah. Like you said, safe, lush, just all of it, right? Throughout the series, you can see gardens representing good and evil representing all of the others. So Mordor being all rock. And the rest of the series, there's really not much greenery.
It goes from being because even when they're in Rohan, and it's all grass, but all the grass is kind of brownish,
exactly,
and it's everything else kind of goes, for want of a better word, industrial.
Yes.
Right? It's all utilitarian, castles and barricades and fortifications.
Yes.
And the Shire is come to my house. There's a little pathway. Look at my garden.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even Gondor with the tree that was dead, right? And then when they bring good back to Gondor and the new king takes over, the tree flourishes and actually
and
blooms.
Who's there? 4 hobbits.
Exactly. There you go. So that was one of the reasons. Also, Tolkien wrote letters that were released. Did you know about that?
No.
So it's the letters of Tolkien. And so in 1951, he wrote a letter to his editor revealing that the chief hero in this series wasn't Frodo, but it was in fact Samwise Gamgee. He was the only lowborn on the entire group of heroes.
Oh.
Yeah. If you think about it, so you have all of the hobbits were of like family money, notoriety.
I didn't know. I knew Frodo was. I didn't know about the others.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I guess like they are also, I went into it and it must be in the book, but there was discussions online about how both Pippin and Merry were part of more established families and they were like more mischievous as like a way to kind of like act out, I guess.
I guess it kind of alludes to that because they're kind of seen as like, you know, they don't do anything. Yeah. Sam's the only one with a job.
Yeah, exactly. Like
they're kind of like, you know, wastrels. They're just having fun and they do whatever takes their fancy.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and Sam is the only one of that more lowborn status. I mean, Aragorn isn't, Legolas isn't, Gimli, they're all of the higher born. Even like Gandalf is like an angel. Yeah. And then you have Galadriel, like all of them are of higher born and higher notoriety. The idea that gardening and having like a job such as that and the things that you learn in gardening and in working hard and in the relationship with nature and what that can bring to, you know, places or in the grand, you know, storyline of the story. It was so interesting to me to think that gardening and nature, and Tolkien, I hear, was huge into nature.
I've seen photos. Most of the photos you see of Tolkien is him in a garden.
Yes.
Like, I mean, yeah, okay, he's wearing a 3-piece suit. But,
he said he was essentially like a hobbit.
Yeah.
He enjoyed all the things that the hobbits in Hobbiton loved.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at it and you know, the easy hero to pick is Aragorn.
Yes.
Right? He ends up being the king and he saves everybody. And he's like the go-to the hero who doesn't really want to be a hero. He give it all up to be a ranger and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And he is ridiculously handsome. So, but without Sam, nothing happens.
Yes, exactly. He even brings Frodo across the finish line. Yep. Like, but yeah, so
a little bit of favoritism there, eh, Brandy?
No, it's just the fact that he's the gardener and I'm just feeling so connected. I just love it. So some hobbit gardening facts. Of course, the connection.
I love that you call them facts.
I know. I was so excited. I deep dive so hard. So the first one is that connection to gardening. Here's something interesting. And so Galadriel, when he gives all the gifts to all of the party of the fellowship, do you remember what she gave Sam?
No.
And I don't know if they really showcased it in the movies. I think it was more so in the books, but it was actually soil. So everybody else got things like the light that helps him save from the spider, you know, a sheath or something like important. Apparently Gimli asked for hair. I found out later, but Sam got soil from Galadriel's orchard. And they said, for you, little gardener and lover of trees, I have only a small gift. In this box, there is earth from my orchard, and such blessing as Galadriel has still to bestow is upon it. It will not keep you on your road, nor defend you against any peril. But if you keep it and see your home again at last, then perhaps it may reward you. Though you should find all barren and laid waste, there will be a few gardens in Middle Earth that will bloom like your garden if you sprinkle this earth there. I don't know. I feel like she kind of maybe had a feeling that it was all going to work out and that Sam was going to take this soil and could kind of tell that his kindred spirit and maybe bring it back.
You know, it's almost when you were reading that and what I was hearing there, I would say it's almost like everything is barren and everything is being touched by war.
Yeah.
And what she's given Sam is the gift of hope.
Yes.
So when everything looks bleak and barren, Sam with his little bit of soil can bring life and fertility back and start spreading it. And during those times, hope is the most important weapon.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, I like this. So another fact.
Maybe we are hobbits. People are always like, I was born in the wrong generation. I was like, I was born in the wrong novel.
You know what, though? Here's something. We can be hobbits.
We are hobbits.
Hobbiton is real.
Hobbiton is real.
Hobbiton is real. I went and looked at this up, and so The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings was both filmed in New Zealand. Yep. And so back in 1998, scouts knocked on the door of the Alexander Farm, which was a 1,250-acre sheep farm in Waikato, New Zealand. And then a year later, construction began on 39 temporary hobbit holes made with plywood and styrofoam. After the film's finished, they deconstructed it. But then they started doing The Hobbit. And so they came back and they actually rebuilt it more permanently for the Hobbit trilogy. So then they turned it into this fully realized world, welcoming tourists, and you can go visit.
What I would have done, what I think would be awesome, is if they turned it, and not for the cash grab, I don't care about that part, but to allow people to stay there, turn it into an Airbnb.
Yes.
Or a hotel, and you can rent like Frodo's home.
I wonder if they do. I know they have tours, so you can actually go into a hobbit hole. And I know that there is a place to get like drinks and stuff, like a little cafe. But I don't know if you can stay. There must be. There's like an inn, so there must be.
I think I'd be more Gandalf and banging my head on things. I think it would probably annoy me pretty quick. I'm 6'1". I'm not really suited for Hobbiton, but the garden part I like. Totally. The inn part I like.
So if you wanted to create like your own hobbit garden, here's some lessons in hobbit gardens. So hobbit holes are built into the earth and have turf roofs, which can help insulate. They keep homes warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Companion planting with herbs. Herbs like sage, thyme, rosemary are commonly found in hobbit gardens. Not only do they use them for cooking, but hobbits also know that the value of companion planting will mean that it'll help deter pests naturally and enhance growth. And I know we've talked about that in previous episodes. Yep. What were some of the companion planting? Mint is a really good one. The scent. Onion. Yeah.
Garlic.
Yeah.
We also talked the Three Sisters.
Yes. The Three Sisters, which was squash.
Corn, beans, and squash.
Corn, bean, and squash. Yeah. Yeah.
And that ties in too with the hobbits being companions.
Yes.
The 4 companions who,
Yeah. Gardening for comfort. Hobbits value the comfort and beauty of their homes. Their gardens are often filled with colorful flowers like marigolds, snapdragons, daisies, makes their homes bright and cheerful and a reflection of their love for simple pleasures. So they loved their herbs, but also their flowers. And also to the final point, hobbits and root vegetables.
Potatoes.
Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Hobbits are known for the love of hearty meals and root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, turnips, staples in their diets. Hobbits often grow these in their garden plots, ensuring that they'll always have a fresh supply. And when you look at the hobbit gardens, you definitely see like a difference, right? Like not every hobbit is the same, much like any gardener. They're not the same. You can have like whatever, like there's trees or they have a small space, but they do so much with their small space.
But they're small people.
Yeah.
I always saw hobbits as being like the you wouldn't see a hobbit going out with a bottle of like herbicide or pesticide.
No.
You know what I mean? Like they seem much more organic and natural and live and let live gardener.
Yeah.
And they keep it healthy and they putz around and they're not going out being like, okay, God, today I've got a weed. Mm-hmm. They're outside and they're like, oh, I'll pull some weeds.
Yeah. And they're very communal too.
Yeah.
They have the communal vegetable garden. They have there's a big tree that they call the party tree. And it's right out in the middle of Hobbiton and they gather there.
That's a big tree in Bilbo's birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. So they use nature in so many ways and they benefit from it. And you can see it's what I thought was interesting is like, they're so happy, you know, in comparison to everything else going on in the world at the time. They come back from all their travels, like the 4 hobbits come back and nobody even knows that they were gone. Like
all they want to do is go back home.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you said there about the color and the flowers. They're happy with simplicity.
Yes.
They don't need big horses and grandiose castles and stuff like that. They just want to have, you know, their mug of ale and their pretty flowers and kick back and just enjoy the weather.
Yeah. Compete with their neighbor over a pumpkin or something like that. Like, I think that's the most aggression you'll find in Hobbiton. So those are some of the things like that I found were interesting about hobbits and gardening. Let's move into snacks.
Which is also Hobbit.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's get into some of that like harvest type mentality. So I don't know if you've ever heard of a scarecuterie board.
I had not, no.
No. So essentially it's a charcuterie board, but it's like more junk food.
That works.
So basically grab your favorite snacks. In this one, we have Oreos, obviously. We have popcorn. We have blueberries for something healthy. We have these bananas, which I'm just going to pull one up. So, oops.
Oops. It's a spider banana. It's a spooky banana.
Okay. So we have these bananas. So essentially what you do is just cut a banana. And then you just put like 2 little eyes on it and then they look like ghosts.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see that.
And then we've got some
pretzels.
Also known as witches' sticks.
Oh.
Like broomsticks.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I was actually thinking they would look like logs on a fire.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was where my brain was going.
Absolutely. Of course, we've got the apple, like the poison apple from Snow White. I didn't do anything to them, though. And then...
Okay, when you say that, you probably shouldn't cackle after. We have poison apples. I didn't do anything to them.
I'm a hobbit. I don't do that stuff. And then you might be wondering what these green nuclear drinks are.
I have been looking at them, yes.
Okay, so I found this recipe online for like a cauldron like punch.
Okay.
Essentially, it's just Gatorade and Sprite.
That was like da-da-da-da. Okay.
But here's the thing. It looks fancy, but it's not.
Yeah, it looks
you
spooky.
can do it too. So you don't have to if you don't want to, but I'll give it to you there if you want to try. I haven't tried it yet.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, it looks spooky over the orange light too.
I don't know. It's interesting. It literally tastes like Powerade and
Yep,
Sprite.
it kind of tastes exactly like you described. It's like, that's not spooky.
No, it's not spooky, but it looks spooky. Yep. It's pretty cool.
And kids would love it.
Maybe you could put like boba in it and make it look like eyeballs or something. Ooh, we are going to do a little bit of a craft.
Oh, no.
To add because our scarecuterie board is missing something.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to just step away from the mic for a sec.
Okay.
And grab some supplies. For this craft, you will need Oreos. So grab an Oreo.
Grab an Oreo. Okay. Eat it.
Oh my God. You're like, oh crap. Okay, so grab your Oreo.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna make spiders. Twist off the cookie. Okay, perfect. And then pop them down on your little plate. Now we need pretzels for this next part because we have to make the legs, right? So yeah, we're just gonna take these little pretzels and then put them in half. Okay, perfect. So next, you're gonna want to melt down some chocolate. So basically what I did here, and how you melt your chocolate is up to you, but I just kind of had like a double, what do you call that? A double
boiler thing?
Boiler, yeah.
Always hate it when I have, like, I don't mind using chocolate, like chocolate chips, if I'm melting chocolate, like for brownies.
Yeah.
No problem. But I hate it when I'm making something and I have to coat it in chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing that the other day and my sister-in-law, Trish, was there. And the chocolate started getting really hard.
Yeah.
Right. And I've got it on a double boiler and I'm like, I'm getting really frustrated. And often what I do is I just throw it away and melt more chocolate.
Okay.
And Trish said, oh, no, what happens is the stuff you're putting in from the freezer, the moisture from it, because it was frozen, is getting into the chocolate and making it stiff. Put in 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. Doesn't change the flavor, doesn't change anything, and it literally brings it straight back to that fresh, melty chocolate.
That's so smart.
Yeah,
Shoot,
so
I should have just told you what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would really help right now.
What you could do if you want is you could run and throw it in the microwave for like 20 seconds.
We have our Oreo halves and then we have our legs.
Yep.
Now we're going to take some melted chocolate. We have some milk chocolate here, vegan milk chocolate. And then we're just going to take like a little, like our little
pretzel.
thing, our little pretzel. And we're just going to dip it in and we're just going to put a dab right in the middle.
Okay. I'm going to use a different pretzel stick. Okay. So. Excellent.
And then we're just going to lay it down and then add the rest of our legs.
Oh, that's why you used one of the leg. I'm an idiot.
Oh, no.
You know I'm arachnophobic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that didn't stop you from doing a spider craft.
This is a therapy session.
Exposure therapy. Okay.
Okay.
How are you done so quick? Oh.
I'm just going to pile on a little bit more in the middle so that the top cookie will stay.
Yeah, me too.
Just stick
I'm
that
just
in there.
copying you exactly. Okay.
Yeah, so it should look like this.
Yep.
Okay, show us. There you go, perfect. And then you literally just put the top of the cookie on top of that.
Okay.
And then, nice. Okay, now we have to give it eyes.
Oh, yeah.
It looks great like this, but we have to give it eyes.
Okay.
So this is where the white chocolate comes in. And this is optional, obviously, but... Okay, so you can take another little witch's broom or pretzel stick and then do the exact same because now we have to get all fine artsy.
Oh, no. Okay, I got my pretzel.
Okay, so then stick it in the chocolate.
Okay. Just a little dab again?
Yeah, and we're going to make eyeballs with it.
Oh, that's...
We'll have lots of eyeballs. Don't worry, I will too.
Yeah.
I literally dip it in like a Q-tip.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll go on to our Oreo cookie.
Yeah.
And then...
decide which way is facing forward.
Yeah.
Mine looks like it wants to go this way. Okay.
I just need more glue. Okay. And then just pop on a little dab.
Little dab.
Or a big dab. Make it big eyes, maybe. Where you want the eyeballs.
Oh, I'm way better at this than glue guns.
I thought so.
Okay.
Okay, and then if you made them super big, what you could also do is you could take like another one or just flip flip it upside down and then put more milk chocolate.
Ooh.
And then create like a little pupil on it.
Oh, do you know what else would work if it's too big? You could actually, if you didn't melt them all, you could take just a chocolate chip.
Oh.
There we go.
There it is. That's so cute.
A spider Oreo. A Spidoreo.
Wait one second.
Okay, here's the weird thing. I don't want to eat them now.
I know. I don't know.
I'm gonna.
You're gonna, okay. Do it. I like how it's like that sweet and salty mixed together.
I feel like hobbits would grow a lot of blueberries.
I think so too. What do you think the growing zone is in Hobbiton?
Oh, I think it's like complete fairy tale. I think it's like New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like they can grow whatever they want, whenever they want. In the winter, they probably do more root vegetables. You know, not New Zealand, Australia, but our friends who invented the veggie pod, right? Blake's a hobbit. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Blake. I mean that.
We should tag him and see if he agrees.
Yeah. I mean that, like, calling somebody a hobbit with everything we've just touched on is absolutely not an offensive thing.
No, if you tell a gardener, actually try this. Go up to a gardener and be like, "You're like a hobbit," or like, "You're a hobbit." I bet you they would find that as a compliment.
Yeah. Well, how could you not?
Yeah.
How could you not? Like, obviously, it means that you have a deep love of your garden. You're very good. Your garden is welcoming and comfortable. Like, I would not be offended when I opened this costume. So Brandy's 100% right, by the way. I had no idea, and Brandy dragged it out for as long as she could and refused to tell me. And when I opened it up, at first I thought, I saw the cloak and I was like, oh, that's green. And then the ears fell out and I was like, oh, are we doing Star Trek? And then the ring came out and I was like, I'm a hobbit. Yeah. And I wasn't even in the slightest like anything other than like, this is epic.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in true Halloween episode fashion, I went online and asked ChatGPT to come up with a spooky story. And in the spirit of our costumes today, of course, it is in the theme of hobbits. Okay. And you have a character.
I have a character. Okay.
So I will give you this to follow along.
Okay. I haven't rehearsed this at all. Bramble, Rootfoot, and Common Greenhill.
Yeah,
I can see that.
There you go. Okay. So I'm going to be the narrator. Okay. And then you're Corman. Okay. Okay. So
does Common have an accent? What's Common's place here?
Okay. Well, can you do another accent?
I'll make something up literally as I read it. I'm not going to read my lines until you tell me. So I'm inspired by Common.
I love it. Okay. Live in the Halloween moment, right? Okay. We've got our little fire going, right? Shout out to Eduardo.
Yep. We've got our drinks.
In the heart of Hobbiton on a sunny autumn morning. Sounds lovely, right?
I'm in. I'm invested.
2 hobbits, Bramble Rootfoot and Corman Greenhill, stood at the edge of their adjoining gardens. The air was crisp, filled with the smell of freshly turned earth and pumpkin spice. They know me so well. From a nearby bakery. Today was no ordinary day. It was the first annual Great Hobbiton Grow-Off, a friendly competition that had somehow spiraled into a gardening showdown between the two. Corman, I've been preparing for this day for weeks. My marigolds are taller than Old Man Willow, and my carrots, well, let's just say they're more mega than mini.
That's all well and good, Bramble, but you have never seen cabbages like these. They're the size of Bilbo's tea kettle. By the time I'm done, my garden's gonna be the talk of the Shire.
The rules were simple. Whoever grew the biggest, best, and most impressive crop won bragging rights for the rest of the year. The problem? Both Bramble and Corman were hobbits with a deep love for gardening and a deeper love for winning. May the best hobbit win.
Oh, I plan to. Is Corman coming off as evil?
The competition started out fair enough. Corman planted his cabbage and Bramble carefully tended to his marigolds and carrots. But as the days wore on, the spirit of friendly rivalry turned into something more. Bramble, ever the experimenter, started sneaking extra doses of his secret fertilizer. I'm like, oh wait, I'm a dude. A concoction he called Root Boost. Meanwhile, Corman, not to be outdone, began using a special growth tonic his cousin had brought back from a trip to Bree. Soon, things started to get out of hand. It began with Bramble's marigolds, which, instead of reaching their usual height, shot up like beanstalks overnight, towering over the garden. The flowers were so massive, the blooms blocked out the sunlight.
Bramble, are you trying to grow a floral fortress?
I didn't mean for them to get this big. It's like they're staging a petal revolt. Not to be outdone, Corman's cabbages swelled to ridiculous proportions. One particularly monstrous head was so large, it caused a section of his garden fence to collapse. That thing's gonna squash Mrs. Butterbur's chickens!
It's under control. Mostly.
Corman had to dive out of the way as the giant cabbage made a break for the chicken coop. Despite the chaos, neither hobbit was willing to admit defeat. Bramble decided his next move would be to grow the biggest carrot the Shire had ever seen. He worked through the night using every trick in his gardening book. Meanwhile, Corman, still battling his out-of-control cabbage, started experimenting with growing pumpkins the size of pony carts. By the time the day the competition arrived, both gardens looked like something out of a horticultural nightmare. Bramble's carrots were so big they had cracked the stone path between their houses, and Corman's pumpkins were causing a small traffic jam as curious hobbits came to gawk. Well, I think we may have gone a bit too far.
A bit? My garden looks like a scene from Attack of the Killer Vegetables.
The two hobbits stood there for a moment, staring at the mess their friendly rivalry had created. Then, as if on cue, they both burst into laughter. I think we've officially overgrown our welcome.
Next time, maybe we stick to regular-sized veggies and no more secret fertilizers.
As the two friends worked together to restore their gardens to something resembling normalcy, they realized that the competition didn't really matter. After all, in Hobbiton, there was always plenty of food to share, and more importantly, plenty of laughter to go around. Though they never officially declared a winner, the sight of Corman's pumpkin rolling through the village square later that evening was enough to crown them both as champions of comedy, if nothing else.
That's awesome. You and I have done challenges against each other before.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. We've done poinsettia, we've done amaryllis,
Yeah.
we've absolutely done it. A bit of friendly competition is so much fun. And I've done it before where I've grown the same type of tomato as a friend. And then at the end, everybody just shares their tomatoes.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
It's like getting the spirit of hobbits and bringing it into your own life, right?
Yep.
Why not? If you're listening to this week's episode, go ahead and watch it on YouTube and Spotify. I think it's going to make a lot more sense.
This was a very visual episode.
Very much so. So give it another shot. And while you're there, why not give us a follow and a review so we can continue to bring you more of what you crave. And also, we really just want to like grow the community. We want to just weird out with all of you, right? Next week, though, we are ending spooky season. Boo. I know, but we're really excited because we are going to head more inside and focus on things like houseplants, right? And I think next week's episode is going to be really interesting because we're going to talk about when to give up on your houseplants, right?
Ooh.
I know it's really difficult because like
that's such a giving up on a houseplant. Easier said than done.
Yes. Yeah. It seems simple. You're just like, oh, bye.
Yeah, I'm done with this. And then you're walking it, you're like, well, maybe. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're going to get a little real next week and we're going to talk about it. So, well, until then, happy Halloween.
Yep. Happy Halloween, everyone.